Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Witch Talk Live. If you're new here, I'm Aurora Moon, and this is a place where we talk about witchcraft, spirituality, and the occult, and everything in between. And tonight's topic, we are going to talk about something that gets misunderstood a lot, and that is what it really means to be a witch. Because if you look online and in movies, or even on social media accounts, you're going to see a lot of stereotypes, right? Usually it's the pointy hats, curses, green skin, or even people saying that witches are evil. Believe me, I've had my share. But the truth is, being a witch is so much deeper than that. Tonight, what we're going to talk about is what a witch actually is, different types of witches, and the mindset of a witch, and why being a witch is really about power, awareness, and personal sovereignty. Okay. One of the biggest misconceptions is that witchcraft equals evil. I have an evil laugh. I do. And you guys, most of you have already heard it. But this idea comes mostly from history. Well, maybe. Anyways, during the witch trials, people who were healers, midwives, herbalists, or anybody who was simply different, we were accused of witchcraft. And I'm sure a lot of you who are watching this can say that you have felt that you were a witch in a past life or a witch in past lives. I know that I definitely feel that within me. And just because of what I do now, I realize that this would have taken a lot of study, a lot of history. And if you go past or go deep enough into your meditations and you can get yourself to a place of doing your past life regression yourself, a lot of us will find that we probably remember being either hanged, killed, being on a battlefield, being nurses, being doctors, working with herbs. You might come across herbs right now and have a deep connection to them, or a deep connection to crystals, or something in that type of genre. And you're going to feel that you were connected to it. And how did you feel connected to it? Probably because you've had that history with it, right? But a lot of fear and religion turned the word witchcraft or witch into something that was more dark and dangerous. And we're really not, right? Historically, many witches were simple. We were herbal healers, we were spiritual practitioners, we were people that were connected to the nature and intuitive. And if there was a woman doctor, oh my goodness, there couldn't be women doctors. Midwives, those were even touchy go on a lot of occasions, right? So if they felt inferior, we were just automatically classified as the evildoers, because we could take something that was so simple, that was probably growing in our own garden, and turned it into something that was magical. And that's just the process of what we did naturally. And that would have taken many cultures, right? Many backgrounds, many histories together. And some of us, even as coven mates, have felt a deep connection with each other, feeling like we've known each other forever. And that's probably because in the past we probably were. As I get shivers as I say that, that's usually my confirmation. So I already know that I've had that connection with a lot of you, and we were drawn together for this exact reason. So in my opinion, a witch is somebody who works with energy, is spiritually aware, uses their intention to influence the reality. So if something doesn't feel right, you want to change it, then we are using our intention to change something into something that can become something tangible, just because we are open to the possibilities of something more, something bigger. And that that connects us to the nature and connects us to the unseen world. And that right there is I don't want to say necessarily faux pas, but a lot of people look at it as being, as such a negative thing. And witchcraft is really about conscious creating. It's about understanding that energy flows or follows your intentions, right? If you want to create something, you're going to put, like when you light a candle with purpose, or you meditate or do a ritual, you read tarot. I always say it tarot, but it's tarot. Or manifest something in your life. You're working with that energy. You're putting the intention out there, right? And that's actually the core of witchcraft. So is that evil? I don't think it's evil, right? Witchcraft is that's witchcraft is a practice. It's not a religion. It's not something to be feared. We're not feared into God and evil and stuff like that unless we believe it in our own religion. But witchcraft is the practice. And that's what people get confused with, because there are pagan witches and there's Wiccan witches. They're all different. Spirituals, chaos magicians. There's even witches that are not religious. I don't put myself into any religious category. I go with spirit, and that's what works. That's what works for me. And if I feel called to something, is that I could look at it as a God creation, but I like to look at balance. I'm a gray witch, so I like to look at the gray or the black and white, and the male and female, and the masculine and feminine, and the negative and positive. Like there's a balance there. So I don't look at just being one being. I look at there's a team, male and female. However you want to look at it, that is your core belief, right? So witchcraft is more of a spiritual practice or a toolkit. It's grabbing your herbs and it's taking all of that and incorporating into a belief system, right? So there's like different types of witches, and they're all on different paths in their witchcraft. For example, there's green witches who work with plants and nature, right? They might just that might be all that they do. That's what they do. Maybe they do it under the moonlight. I don't know. But you don't have to follow a god and a goddess in order to be a witch, right? That's the religion aspect. If you want to follow that, then that might be more Wiccan for you, or that might be more pagan for you, that you'd have to look down those paths. But there's divination witches who just work with their tarot and astrology and maybe runes. There's lunar witches who work with just the moon cycles. I think I started off there. Actually, I started off with working with angels and just going with the new moon and full moon, until I realized that a lot of what I do with my magic is more chaos. It's chaotic. I just grab things, and I can be anywhere and just grab things and put them together and make it into a spell just on the fly. And honestly, you don't need to label yourself as anything if you don't want to, right? There's so many different paths. If you resonate with a green witch, but you also resonate with a crystal witch, and you also resonate with a divination witch, sea witch, whatever you want, then that's what you do, right? That's what you don't have to follow or label yourself as anything other than just being a witch. Now, the most important thing about being a witch is the mindset. Okay, so if you are new to witchcraft and you wonder if you're a witch, well, do you feel that you're a witch? If you feel that you're a witch, you're a witch. A witch to me is someone who questions things. We seek knowledge. We trust our intuition. We take responsibility for our energy. We recognize that, and we understand that our thoughts, emotions, and intentions have power. And you start noticing synchronicities, and you start noticing patterns. You'll start noticing energy shifts. And the more that you become aware of those magical influences, the more that you're going to feel. and you're going to see them. If you see 111 daily, you can look at it as, you see 111 daily. But if you're out and you start seeing it everywhere, and it might not be the three number sequence. It might not be a 111, 222, or 333. Okay. It might be a 706, 609, something like that, 810. But if you see those numbers on a regular basis, it's calling to you. Sit back and ask yourself, as a witch, as you're learning yourself, if this is new for you, what those numbers mean to you. And if your first intention is to say, well, that's letting me know that I'm on the right track. Yes, it is. Feel that. Because if you want to, I'm going to take you back a few years. I remember the first time I ever actually out loud said that I was a witch. And that was back in 2019 when I started my Facebook group page. Out of nowhere, I was with some friends, and I don't know why or where it came from. All of a sudden, I just looked around. I was out in nature and I said, oh my God, I'm a witch. And they looked at me, my friends looked at me and they said, yeah. Like, you didn't know that of yourself? And maybe I needed to be in that moment to actually realize it, because maybe there was a fear behind it as what people were going to maybe judge me on. Because let's face it, the movies, Hollywood, really make witches out to be something that they're not, right? The pointy hats, yeah, for Halloween. Maybe we do wear it out daily. If you do, great. Some of us don't do that. Some of us can't do stuff like that. Maybe we're not in an area that is very welcoming and you'd like to keep it more closed, behind closed doors, and that's fine. But I remember being first saying, oh my God, I'm a witch. Because I started realizing everything that I went to school for. Like, my training was all in the psychic arts. I didn't go to college or university. Well, I did go to college, but I didn't go for those reasons to get a career, so to speak. I took everything spiritual that I could. I had this thirst for knowledge. I needed to understand. And for some people, calling themselves a witch is actually really empowering. And I felt in that moment, I felt like, oh my God, I'm being called to announce this. Maybe it's just to myself. Maybe it is to the world, because I feel that there's a higher purpose to this. And I have always felt that way, but never knew why. And for centuries, the word was used to shame us and to silence people, especially women. But now many people are reclaiming it as a symbol of their independence and their spiritual freedom and their personal power, their sovereignty, the connection to the ancient wisdom. Being a witch isn't about harming people. It's about awakening to your own power and trusting that, right? A lot of times we doubt our intuition when we have this signs. If you are new to learning any of this, I want you to understand that if you have this desire or you have this feeling inside you that this is what you are, don't be ashamed of it. Don't feel afraid of it. If you're looking for a support group, this is the group. Because none of my girls in this group will ever shame you. Because if anybody ever did, boom, out. I don't think twice about it. Because that's not how I work. We're here to support each other. And it doesn't matter what part of your journey you're on. You might be working through some horrible demons. Doesn't matter. If you're working through your stuff, I'm not going to walk away. That's not the type of person I am. I will support you. I will support you from the distance, because you have to do the work. You have to do the work. That's your responsibility. So being a witch is that. Being a witch is finding your answers and not looking to everybody else to give you what you think your answers are. Those are, whether or not that feels good to you or not. We have that intuition within us. And when we use it and we use it properly, it can freaking guide us. It can really guide us. And if something doesn't feel right, it will let us know. It's when you start doubting it. It's when you start going an opposite way of what you're actually being told to do just because of fear. Believe me, if you were trying to go down a path and you were afraid of being criticized or judged, I get it. And most of these people that are on here right now get it too. But it's your time. It's your time to rise up. It's your time to be in that power. And again, you might be in a place that you can't express that freely, and I understand. Go with your gut. Remember, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we did discernment, spiritual discernment. And that is following your own intuition to know. Don't listen to anybody else. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. And if you're not sure what your yes and no is, start asking yourself. Ask yourself questions that you do know answers to, and then ask yourself questions that you know are a negative answer. Get your yeses, get your nos. There is opportunities to do that. But at the end of the day, being a witch isn't about the aesthetics. It's not about the tools. It's not about the labels. Buying a whole bunch of crystals does not make you a witch. Okay. You don't need a bunch of crystals. You don't need expensive tools. A lot of my tools have been passed down. I have antique wine glasses. I don't drink wine. I don't drink, but I use my antique wine glasses for ritual, for my water and for my salts. I've have antique spoons. Remember those spoons that our mom and grandmas had up on their wall, right? Those little ones, the collector ones. I use those, or baby spoons that I had when I was a baby that I was given from my mom. I would use those because those have history. Those are our ancestors. That's our lineage. And there's a connection to that. Make use of the things that you have. What matters most is your intuition, your awareness, and your connection to your own energy. That's where your real magic is, and that's where it begins. You have the power, and you need to be able to trust that. And being a witch is all about that. And you might start off, and you guys know, I'll say it again. I hate the term baby witch, and I'll tell you why. Because we're only a baby once. Once we start walking, we're no longer a baby. So, and a baby needs to be taken care of. Don't look at yourself as a baby. Look at yourself. You can say you're a novice witch. You can say you're new, you're learning, you're a beginner witch, but you're not a baby. Babies can't do anything for themselves. Empower yourself with your words by saying, no, I am this powerful witch, and I don't need it to be perfect. Don't let anybody tell you that you have to do a full moon ritual on the full moon. If you feel guided to do a full moon ritual halfway in between, do it. If you only have time in the afternoon to do a spell, don't wait till 6 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, midnight. Don't get up at 3 a.m. That's unrealistic now. We don't have the time or the energy to do that. Do your magic when it's convenient for you. Don't let anybody else tell you how to witch. Okay? You are that power. You are that gift. Give it to yourself and learn it. Okay? Anyways, guys, it's a short one today, and that's only because I am not feeling very well. I'm surprised that I didn't cancel. My chest has been tight all week, and I feel very exhausted today, but my voice feels a little bit better, so I thought I'd give it a shot. But I'd love to hear from you in the chat. So Tell me, do you consider yourself a witch? And what does it mean what does being a witch mean to you? And even let me know when you got started. Were you scared? Let's talk about it. And let me know in the comments below whether or not if there's something that you want to see me do. I'm going to be getting through to all of the topics as much as I can. But if you have something, throw it out there. I'll put it on my list. Maybe I haven't thought of it yet. But I am building this to be one that you can come to each week where we've learned something and we move on and we learn something new following week. And it's just a series. And they will always be available on YouTube for you to go back to look them over. I've got some new meditations up now. Some are without being guided. Some are being guided. So check those out. Believe me, my first couple, I didn't do the greatest jobs. I'm getting better at it though. This is all new to me. I'm learning as I go. I'm just going with my own guidance. And believe me, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but my channel has blown up. I'm so grateful to the universe for that, because I really do think that the more of us that comes up and rise, the more that we can do some healing, the more that we can empower our children, our children's children, our lineage, because it stops here. We don't let that energy of what our past traumas, what our past parents or ancestors went through. We're different now, and we don't need to be afraid of who we are. So please be brave, be confident, and love you guys all. And thank you so much for joining tonight's Witch Talk. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this, remember to like, share, subscribe, share with anybody who you think that might like it. And remember, your intuition is powerful and your energy matters. And magic begins the moment you become aware of it. So blessed be angels and witches and starseeds and all of you beautiful people who are just getting new to this and you don't know where you feel that you are on your journey. Everyone's welcome here. Ciao for now.